I'm here with Governor-to-be, possibly Barbara Buono. She's running for governor of the state of New Jersey. Thank you for coming on Princeton TV.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back in Princeton.
You still live on Jefferson, you said?
I did, yeah. After law school, I lived here for about a year. The library looked very different back then.
Yeah, they tore it down, redid it, like everything changes. But we have some questions, some from Princeton, myself, and some from Princetonians. Here's the first one. A longtime Princeton resident, Alan Rosenthal, who's an expert on state legislature, he told me that most governors, when they get into the office, they focus on infrastructure and education. How do you stand on that if you become governor?
Well, that's interesting that he would say that because infrastructure and education are central platforms in my economic plan. New Jersey has the highest unemployment in the region, higher than New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Connecticut. And that's because this governor simply doesn't have an economic plan. His economic plan to create jobs has landed us at the bottom of the barrel in economic growth. And what his economic plan consisted of was solely giving $2.1 billion in tax credits to big corporations, and it hasn't delivered the quality or quantity of jobs that we really needed in New Jersey. And so I have a plan, the Buono Economic and Job Creating Plan, and it focuses on investing in our students so that they are prepared for the jobs that are going to be in demand, that the jobs, the STEM jobs, science, technology, engineering, and math jobs, and it also focuses on our infrastructure. New Jersey is a great place to do business, and primarily because of its skilled workforce and because of our location. But in order to draw businesses to New Jersey and to keep them here to expand, you have to really make sure that our infrastructure isn't crumbling.
That leads into our second question. In your opinion, what has been the plus and minuses of the Christie administration? I kind of have a feel how you must feel about that.
Well, I go and I go all over the state, up and down the state, and I can tell you what people say to me, and they are, being crushed by highest in the nation property taxes. Property taxes under this governor have risen 20% on average his first 3 years in office, and that is the tax that really burdens people because it's not based on income. Also, jobs in the economy. I talk to people and they say, this is not the New Jersey I grew up in. I grew up in New Jersey. I was on my own since I was 19. My dad was an immigrant, came here, didn't speak a lick of English, and he came here with his parents because of opportunity. And so I was on my own since I was 19, put myself through college and law school because there was opportunity back then and jobs to pay off those loans when I graduated. What people are telling me up and down New Jersey is the fact that this is a New Jersey that has just essentially evaporated before their eyes. That is a New Jersey that's why I'm running for governor. I'm running because I am passionate about creating the opportunities that I had growing up, creating the jobs, good paying jobs to keep our families together in New Jersey. In terms of what's good about this governor, well, he's great on TV. I will say he's got a good shtick.
You recently picked a lieutenant governor, running mate, Miley. I keep Silva, Millie Silver. What was your criteria in picking her?
Well, I wanted to pick the best person that I could. I wanted to find someone that could be a partner with me that shared my vision for lifting up middle-class New Jerseyans, for having a passion about doing what's right on behalf of the 99% of New Jerseyans that this governor's policies have hurt, and he's turned his back on them. Millie is not only qualified, she is more than qualified. This is a woman who has been, she again is a working class background. Her mom emigrated from Puerto Rico before Millie was born, and Millie, just because of hard work and determination and tenacity, was able to get a scholarship to a great middle school in New York, and then was able to work her way through Columbia University. For the last 10 years, Millie, who's a mom of three, lives in Montclair, has been representing the SEIU, which is one of the largest unions in the United States that represents nursing home employees, mostly low-wage earners, primarily women, people of color, immigrants, and she has done an amazing job. She has presided over 7,000 to 8,000 employees, presided over negotiation of multi-million-dollar contracts. And what Millie has that I think we really are in need of in New Jersey is a skill set that, I mean, because after all, government is about compromise. It's about consensus building. It's about negotiating. And Millie has demonstrated over her 10 years in that position that she has the ability to bring parties together, to have a meeting of the minds, and to do what's best, forge a compromise that's beneficial not just to the workers who feel that they have a fair shake, but also to make sure that the companies that they work at remain profitable. So I am thrilled that Millie has agreed to stand by my side and move forward.
Next question we have in this race. This is from local Princeton residents. This is from Jane from Moore Street. Do you have a favorite in the Democratic primary race between Cory Booker, Frank Pallone, and Rush Holt?
Well, we have a wealth of great candidates. I know each and every one of them. I know Sheila Oliver quite well, the first African American woman speaker in the Assembly. I have a lot of respect for her. Certainly, Frank Pallone is my congressman for many years, and Rush Holt I've known since he ran the first time, and Cory Booker, of course. Everybody knows Cory Booker. And I certainly wouldn't. I don't want to weigh in on that because I think that it really isn't relevant what my opinion is on that. What matters is what the people of New Jersey decide on. What is that date?
They're 13th.
That's another issue. This.
Why the election? Now, rumor has it that our governor didn't want to be on the same ballot with the very popular Cory Booker, but it's costing us a lot of money. Now, that's not good Tea Party politics, in my opinion. Why? What's happening?
Well, this is the irony in all of it, and it is a cruel irony. This is a governor who actually vetoed a bill that the legislature passed that would have provided for early voting, would have increased voter turnout by allowing people to vote before Election Day. He vetoed it, saying that it was too expensive. So he wasn't willing to invest state dollars in increasing voter turnout, but he was more than willing to invest literally untold tens of millions of dollars for this special election, a primary which is held August 13th, a general for just the U.S. Senate race, which is 20 days, held on a Wednesday, by the way, not a Tuesday, 20 days before the election for governor, legislature, county freeholder, all the way down the line. The only thing that this will do is depress the vote. If people thought that the turnout was low in the primary, you haven't seen anything yet. Unfortunately, it's a governor who has no problem investing $24 million or thereabouts in having a special election that will only benefit himself in terms of his national aspirations, because he wants to win on November 5th, and I assume he thinks that if he depresses the vote and confuses people, less people will vote, and who knows what the turnout will be. So, I think that it's something that the people of New Jersey need to know. When you think about that, he's willing to spend $24 million or thereabouts on a special election, which only benefits his own political aspirations, and yet he didn't see fit to fund $7.5 million that would have paid for women's health care. Year after year after year, he's vetoed women's health care. And yet, because that was an ideological veto. This is something that has no basis in fiscal. Fiscally, it made no sense, because for every dollar we invested in state dollars, we would draw down 9 federal dollars. So this is a governor who, unfortunately, is driven only by his own political ambitions.
Safe to say you're not going to be having a beer with him in a friendly bar in Princeton in the future, then. Or debate.
I'm always willing to talk. I assume that we're going to debate. I'm looking forward to it. I'm taking matching funds from the state of New Jersey. As such, the Election Law Enforcement Commission has set up 2 debates, one at Montclair State, and I believe the other one's at Kane College. The governor has not indicated whether or not he'll take matching funds or whether or not he will debate, but I'm certainly hopeful he will, because I think it doesn't serve him well if he refuses to do that.
2 more questions we have from Sandra, from Cleveland Lane. It seems like a lot of your potential supporters are enamored with Christie, especially after Sandy. How can you woo them back?
Well, if you look at the same polls that say that the governor is popular in terms of how he responded to Superstorm Sandy, those very same people, if you ask them the question, what are the issues that will drive them to the polls? It's jobs in the economy, and this governor's job approval numbers are low. They're in the low 40%. And if you ask them what are the other issues that will actually drive them to vote on November 5th, they say it's property taxes. And this governor's job approval numbers are in the high 30%. And there's no wonder because our property taxes are at a record high. They've risen at a 20% on average rate. And so as I go out and talk to people and we focus on the issues that really matter to them right here and now, they understand that they have a credible candidate that understands what they're going through, that knows what it's like to be without a job, to have actually been on food stamps myself at one point in my life since I was on my own. And they understand that if they want somebody to go to bat for them that stands up for the middle class, that will fund education, that will not drastically cut property tax relief, causing property taxes to rise on the middle class, they know they've got that kind of a candidate in Barbara Buono who will go to bat for them.
And our final question, Dan from Snowden Lane, said, I didn't know about this. You've criticized Christie for no reaction on Trayvon Martin. Is this true? And if that's true, what is your reaction to what happened in Florida?
Well, this governor has it's an unfortunate, a common thread of refusing to react to issues that he's someone who you don't have to beg him to weigh in on an issue. The United States Supreme Court decision recently gutted the Voting Rights Act, a signature accomplishment of the civil rights movement that people actually gave their lives for. This governor was asked on at least three occasions where he stood on that, and he said he just was very dismissive, that he hadn't read it, and to this date he hasn't stated an opinion. And for someone who in his own mind anyway sees himself as being presidential material, I don't think there's anything more important than weighing in on an assault on our voting rights and on our democracy. With respect to Trayvon Martin, he has been also noticeably mute on that. And I think it was an outrageous decision that we live in a country that have laws on the books that actually facilitate what I see as vigilantism. I think is just shocking.
Well, now we're winding up. September is going to come up, and politics will start heating up. What is your plan? You do have numbers you have to conquer. You have to make people aware. What's going to be going on for you in the next 3 months, besides wearing out some shoes?
Well, what will be going on is what I've been doing since I first announced, and what will be going on is coming to places like Princeton. What we've been doing with our economic plan, we've been doing kitchen table sit-downs, talking to everyday people in their kitchens, at train stops, at bus stops, in nail salons, just hearing what's on people's mind and getting their input. And when they understand what can be done, when they understand that their property taxes are the highest they've been ever, when they understand that there's an economic plan that actually can turn things around in New Jersey. We have so much potential to create jobs and to make New Jersey competitive once again and put us on the road to prosperity. People get excited. They want to get engaged and involved. And so I'm pleased to have a running mate, because I got to tell you, if I could replicate myself 100,000 times over, it would be an easy task. I'm glad I have a running mate, and everywhere I go, people are engaged and they want to be emissaries for the campaign, to talk to people, make sure. And if there's one thing I would encourage people to do is to get involved, to find out what's going on, to read, to figure out how it's impacting their lives, and to vote on November 5th.
Well, thank you, Barbara Buono, for taking the time. And this is Adam Bierman with the Democratic candidate for governor of New Jersey, Barbara Buono, and this is Princeton TV.